All right. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Talk with Rose. Yo, I was like, I gotta share this. I was watching YouTube like usual, seeing what's going on. And hey, Brian, I love Candace Starr. She is good. Like I said, when she does her spiritual stuff, that's a little different to understand and take in. I'm not gonna say it's wrong. I'm not gonna say it's right. I'm not going to say anything about it. I don't touch people's religion or religious experiences. And technically, what Candace is doing is kind of classified as a religious experience kind of thing. It is a religious thing. So I'm not going to say it's wrong, it's false, it doesn't happen. I used to do tarot cards, but because I started becoming more religious in other ways, my husband asked me to throw out my deck. My deck was always right. I loved my deck. Anytime I read for anybody, oh my gosh, my deck was right. I had the gift to read those cards. And I loved it. People would ask me to read their cards all the time. I'd be on Twitch playing Minecraft or a game with my stream, and one person would say, "Hey, Rose, you up for reading my cards?" And then I would get a line of people and we'd tell everybody, "Okay, put your name down in chat. My mod's going to write your name down. And then I'll read for somebody, first come, first serve. So when I'm done with this person, my mod will tell me who's the next person and then who's the next person." And then we'd sit there for the next 2, 3 hours and do readings before we got back to games. And I would be like, "Do you want the 3 card spread? Do we need to talk about something real quick? Or do you want the full 10 card spread? We're going all out talking about the problem." And so we would go back and forth between, and it always opened up great conversation. Or I would just read them, and if it was too personal to talk about, I did a vague reading where I vaguely talked about the problem and hoped it helped you from what I was seeing on the cards, because you didn't have to tell me your problem. If you needed help with the problem, I could technically help you without you telling me about the problem. We could do a vague way of talking about the problem, as long as it helped you. But I made a change in my life earlier this year and I threw out my deck. So say I can't say that it's wrong or right, or what's giving the answer. Is it Dee Dee? Is it a demon? I don't know. Don't know what helps you read the cards. I don't know what makes every card you turn over for some reason pertains to that person's problem. It's just like every card, I don't know why there's so many cards in that deck that talk about so many problems. And when the right person comes up and you flip that card, for some reason it's always the right card. And I don't know what it is that tells you when and how to cut that deck as you're cutting the deck, that tells you how to cut that deck and perfectly, because you don't like a regular deck of cards. You cut the deck and you think about the problem and you cut the deck, and then you do the reading. You do the final cut and then the read. And it always solves the problems. But when she shows videos that are very grounded in logic, physical logic of this world, those ones I can definitely talk about and say, all right, this is where me and Candace do a lot of agreeing. And I love the ideas she brings to the table. I love the ideas she puts out there. And so we're gonna go over one I just saw of Candace. Like I say, when I was noticing Rod was at the soccer field with Mia, and like I'm the last one to always notice something. Like I don't watch I I can't watch a video and then 3 months later watch another video and correlate those two videos together all the time, because especially when you get older, the way your memory works, it's like, oh, I've heard that before. Where did I hear that before? Sometimes. And so correlating things together, it's like if I notice things in a picture, wow, everybody else better be noticing it because I am the last one to be able to notice things. But we're going to watch a video that Candace Starr brings out. And so, because this is what I'm noticing of Gypsy, she takes two roles in this life. She's either Gypsy, the victim, and she brings herself back to that childish victim stage. And she did that a lot with Ryan towards the end when she wanted to be with Ken. Now, when she was first with Ryan and she wanted to be with Ryan and she was making her marriage work, she was Dee Dee the manipulator. And we're going to show this, okay? So we'll show why I see this. So there was a time, admit it or not, Gypsy thought she was going to be with Ryan, okay? Ken had just simply talked to Christy, but Christy didn't say what they talked about yet. So remember, during the first 2 weeks of Ryan and Gypsy being together, it was a whirlwind, magical moment that Gypsy was so in love with. They had their week in New York. They had their magical moments, okay? So just remember that there is a point where Gypsy is now playing Dee Dee the manipulator, in my opinion, in my thinking, by the way, being the manipulator that is grooming Ryan to be her husband. So we all remember the shut up video, right?
How did that happen?
You never went to school either.
Shut up.
I don't know.
So you remember Gypsy, she nudges Ryan during these interviews. So when she's wanting to be with a guy, she pulls in that manipulation mode. I'm going to groom you. I'm going to manipulate you. I'm going to train you how to be with me. When she's ready to leave Ryan, she's nothing but Gypsy, the victim. So if you notice, and as we recently heard, it was a brown Valentine's Day that Gypsy starts texting Ken and emotionally cheating on Ryan. So this is where we get to the point where when February comes, you see a change and a shift in the relationship. No longer is she the groomer, the manipulator. She is now the victim. Ryan is constantly victimizing her. She is not in control of her life because of Ryan. Ryan's trying to take control of her. A lot of things are going on. Everything Ryan does is wrong. Everything Ryan does triggers her. She played that with Ryan in the beginning, and that's where we're gonna watch the Chris Jericho thing again. Candace is gonna show us Chris Jericho, where she's training Ryan she's grooming Ryan to, let's get out of Gypsy the victim stage, and I'm getting to Gypsy the manipulator stage. I'm your wife. I'm gonna manipulate you the same way my mom manipulated me and kept me in control by nudging me, by telling me when I could talk, when I can't talk. And you can see in this Chris Jericho, every time Ryan talks, she's watching Ryan and making sure, okay, you are saying the right things. I'm finishing your sentences, you're finishing my sentences. We're making sure we're literally right on board. We're possibly scripted. We know exactly what we're going to say because I've already groomed you and I've already told you. And you also seen in that video where Ryan, once again in New York, they're in New York, and Ryan's like, no, Gypsy's ex is the one who manipulated her. He's talking about Nick. That Nick was the manipulator. And you can see Gypsy look up at Ryan and then look at the camera like, yep, I'm training this guy right. Like I could tell the look on Gypsy's face that she's like, okay, Ryan surprised me, but I'm grooming him right because Ryan is doing exactly what I need him to do. And so she's grooming Ryan correctly. He's standing up for her putting Nick down. So let's watch where she immediately starts off. So we saw her talking to Ken in that bragging mode of Ryan just called me, cussed me out. He found out that we've been talking since February. So she's playing Gypsy the victim, where Ken is like, okay, quit talking to Ryan, block Ryan. He's nothing but angry. All you guys do is fight. Poor Gypsy, you don't need this. So she starts off playing Gypsy the victim, and then she moves into Gypsy the groomer, the manipulator. And we see her as soon as she gets with Ken face to face, groomer mode hits. Okay. And Candace Starr is going to take us down that road to show us her thoughts, but I'm adding my thoughts to it, saying, okay, Gypsy is now very comfortably, immediately stepping into the groomer role with Ken. We're skipping a lot of the victim stage because she does treat Ken differently than Ryan. I will admit that, because she goes quicker into the groomer stage and the manipulator stage with Ryan and skips a lot of the victim stage. Because before she can get to that groomer and manipulator stage, she's got to play the victim and get you to feel sorry for her. And you can tell, like I said, per that interview, that she was surprised that she groomed Ryan right. Because when they said something, Ryan immediately spoke up for Gypsy and said, no, her ex manipulated her. And Gypsy's like, yep, I'm doing this right. I'm doing this right. I got it. I've played victim long enough, and he feels sorry for me. He believes my story, and now I'm going to groom him to be my husband, where I'm going to control his every word, his every movement, everything. I'm going to control that now. And so she very comfortably, okay, let's watch what Candace has to say. This is so funny. You guys are going to love this. Oh, whoops, sorry. Put this on screen. Don't let me do this again to you guys. Hey, Abel. Hi, I'm multitasking, but trying to listen, no problem. Multitasking is great. I wish I could kind of multitask and stream. I do that if I'm on like my phone and on TikTok. I can like go for a walk or something, or clean the kitchen. Like sometimes I clean the kitchen, do the dishes while I'm talking to you guys. But when I'm here I have to be at my computer. I got my full attention is at this computer. And so it's like I'm straight up right here. So yeah, watch my TikTok if you want to see me multitask and talk to you guys. I'll go into like the daily life category and be like, let's cook dinner. Let's do our dishes together. Let's clean our bathrooms and our toilets. I've cleaned my toilet. Somebody came on and they're like, are you getting ready to take a bath? And I'm like, no, I'm cleaning my bathroom. I'm cleaning my toilets, dude. I'm like, I'm just talking to you guys. What? Because I'm up at 5 a.m. and my mom's coming over today and she's going to check and see if my toilets are clean. So it's like, I got to hurry and clean my toilets before my mom gets here. I don't want to get in trouble with my mommy. I got to have my toilets clean.
Of many traumas that I don't speak about. I would never sell my trauma. I am triggered by her lies. And I caught this demon. I caught it. I got her.
I love Candace's excitement, how she takes this video. She's seen this video. This is a video. She's actually reacting to her own video. She did this video, and then all of a sudden, she sees Gypsy with Ken, and she sees this huge correlation between the two videos. And now she's in this euphoric stage because she caught Gypsy in the biggest lie. Candace has caught Gypsy in the biggest, greatest lie. You guys are going to love this, okay? This is the best. Gypsy is so caught, you guys. Gypsy is so caught on the abuse. And I'm just as excited as Candace because I love that she caught this. Good job, Candace, on catching Gypsy's biggest lie about the abuse. Okay? This girl, she's not abused. She's just getting Ryan to feel sorry for her, and because she's playing the victim role. Gypsy the victim.
Got her. Now I'm gonna play this video for you. Okay. Now I did this 6/15, January, February, March, April, May, June 15th. Okay. Oh my God, I'm shaking. I got her. I
Candace is
freaking
like,
got
I'm
her.
so shaken
Listen to what I
because it's so
say,
great.
and then we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna show you another thing from her own words again.
From her own word. Yes.
Okay.
The best thing in the world is when Gypsy does get upset at us. Gypsy, we are watching your interview. We oh, let's not cue the PR team though. I'm like, are we gonna tip off her new PR team about how bad she slips up in interviews and we catch her? Because I'm loving that we're catching her. So hopefully her PR team doesn't get smart to all of this stuff. Okay. It's like, PR team, chill out. We want to catch Gypsy in all of this.
So here she's doing an interview about her triggers and things that cause her flashbacks, but I'm going to literally debunk it right in front of your eyes. Watch this, okay?
Debunk
So the
it,
first thing she's
Candace.
going to say is that
Debunk it.
one of her triggers is not having control over her life. Remember that. No
Remember it.
control. Okay.
Remember it very well, guys.
And that's what triggered her to her mama, okay? Precisely. All right.
Remember, I was talking about this. This kind of, yeah, I'm great, 13th hour. Sorry, I needed a minute to cry. Like, I even showed my husband the video today because I know sometimes it's like, I told my husband, I said, you watch how it went with Sir Morbid. Do you feel like I was made fun of? Do you feel like I was shut down? Because I feel like I was completely shut down. I didn't get a chance to explain things. I was getting shut down so fast and laughed at so fast that nobody, we didn't even go view Candace's video. Nobody gave me time. They're like, well, we'll just get Candace up here and we'll just have Candace tell us. Like, it's like, what's wrong with me telling you about the video? And why don't you put up Candace's video? We'll talk about it. It's a 5-minute video that Candace put up. And so I felt like I was just nothing but shut down and laughed at because, yes, it is. It is so hard. I'm sorry, 13th hour, because I know how you like to step up on panel too, but yeah, I noticed you haven't been up on panel much either. I don't like the people stepping up on panel anymore either. Like, I don't know, I probably went off on everybody too much last night. Like, I went off on What a Bug last night on my own. If What a Bug comes to my channel, they're probably going to be pissed at what I had to say about them because I went off on pretty much everybody last night. I went off on Morbid. I didn't go off on Becca Scoops too much. And I went off on What a Bug and Nina, and I just went off on everybody last night because I was like, I just go over to Morbids and lurk for a minute just to see what's being said, and who's up on panel. But like I said, I don't go up on panel any. I got encouraged to go on panel last night. Hey, booties, yeah, I'm doing so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for letting me get a crying out stream for a minute because I have been holding this in about Morbid's panels for a while. I have been just holding this in for a long, long time. And just been lurking with just anger boiling in Morbid. And then I actually decided to talk, and I was asking about the autopsy, and people are like, Rose, we want to know the answer too. Just go up on panel and ask them. Because Morbid doesn't read. Thank you. Real women do cry. We get hurt, Budicia. And so I got brave enough to step up on panel and be like, okay, I'm just going to talk about the autopsy. But then I went off on that totally other subject like an idiot. And I just felt like my husband's like, why did you ask Morbid if he's ever had sex? Why'd you do that? I saw my husband's look on his face. He was like, Rose, you did not just say that to Morbid, did you? And I was like, I was getting so frustrated with how shut down I was feeling that, yes, I took a dig at Morbid. I had to take that dig at Morbid because he just wasn't letting me explain myself. He was laughing at me. He was shutting me down. And so I finally just yelled out at him. It's like, have you ever had sex? Or have you ever? It's like, do you not know what a grip mark looks like on a pillow, Morbid? And then I actually had to stop myself because I was going to go on more and take a bigger dig into him. But I was like, you know what, Rose? You don't touch other people's sex lives. I'm like, stop right now. I'm like, just stop, Rose, right now. Because I was angry enough to like take this farther. I was like so angry last night that I was just going to like dig hard into him last night. I was just going to be like, I was going to go into actual being like, so your wife's never gripped her pillow? But I thought myself, I was like, don't even start in on that shit, Rose. I'm like, just stop now. Take a step back. Because it's like, if you don't understand what Candace is talking about wrinkle marks, grip marks, I thought I explained it well. I thought I explained, I tried to explain it well. Like I said, I felt like they kept shutting me down and wouldn't let me get any explanation out. And so I finally was just like, I'm done. Click off panel, whatever. Go ahead, worship Becca Scoops. Listen to, hang on every word she says. And I'm just going to step off panel. Because it's like, when Becca Scoops is up there or Nina's up there, it's like when there's certain people up there, you cannot go up on panel when there's somebody up there that's being worshipped. It's like you got to watch who's up on panel and only go up there when there's other chill people up there, not when there's simps up there worshiping people. I mean, streamers are great. We're great. Streamers are great. You know, we're bold enough to come out here, give our opinions online on our own platform, on our own channel, but we're not gods. We're not, our word isn't gold. It's not set in stone. You know, I tell people, don't take my advice and don't take my word like I'm God, you know. I will give you advice. I will give you life experience. I am here to listen to you. I am here to help you, but my word is not God. You know, I'm just a streamer. For Morbid and somebody who says we're all nobodies, they sure do worship a lot of nobodies, you know? And it just pisses me off. And it puts down other streamers that are small like me. Like, we're out here doing our best, digging that rabbit hole. But we're not, I don't know I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know. I don't want to be worshipped like that though. It's like a hard jealousy kind of thing. I don't want to be worshipped like that, but I don't want to watch other people be worshipped like that, you know? We're all just streamers, okay? Some of us have capabilities to make videos that are edited and clipped and cool. And some of us, we just turn on the camera and we talk. You can at least say you have the balls to go up on panel with so many is hard, more than 3. When I saw that he finally did over 6 the other day, I was like hell, I'm getting on panel. Because people, for some reason, love to talk over me. I get up on panel, opinion people, Yeah, when I get up on panel, the talking over each other gets even worse. Every time I'm on panel, the disorganization seems to get worse. And I'm sitting there forever going, I can't get a word in. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, can I still get a word in? Are we still talking about the subject? Or is the subject over and I didn't get my word in? Yeah, like he should keep it under 6. Well, at one point he was, and because people were emailing him and complaining, saying, "Hey, Morbid, it's too much." But then I stopped going up on panels so everybody could have peace because, like I said, for some reason, people want to talk over me. I start to talk and people start to shut me down. And it's like, I don't know what the hell, guys. My opinion is just as valid as yours. And I don't know why this talking over gets so much worse when I get on panel. It's a little of Morbid. I missed the part you're talking about. I'm sorry that happened to you. No problem, Donna. I've been so frustrated. Like I said, I've been holding in this anger for a couple months. And finally last night, I just unleashed it. I was just like, I am done feeling like this. I'm done watching those comments where people are like, Rose, I hate your voice. Get off panel. Rose, you annoy me. People have said stuff like, when Rose is up there, I feel like I get dumber. And I'm like, wow, you guys are really rude, aren't you? And it's like, because I'm up there trying to bring as much logic and new ideas to the case as possible instead of just get up there and repeat, rinse and repeat. Because this case, why a lot of people there's 2 different kinds of people on this case. There's people on it who want the clout, who want to become famous, and if you say Gypsy's name, there's a chance you become famous. And then there's other people. We are so boggled by this case. There's like 20 different scenarios how Dee Dee could have been murdered. There's no one right. Hey, Chrissy Cakes. There's no one right scenario where Dee Dee got murdered. There's no one right scenario. There's like 20 different scenarios to imagine. And everybody last night got mad at me because I sided with Candace on the darkest of all the theories. The one that everybody is wondering but not saying. Because we know Nick was talking about necrophilia and seeing the positioning of Dee Dee's body, the way she was so exposed. It's all speculation. Yeah, there's 20 different ways to speculate this. And I went the darkest route last night. The dark route. Because we know from the Facebook posts that Gypsy was posting. She was posting a girl kissing a demon. Did everybody forget that post about Gypsy? The one she deleted? She put it on her and Nick's and somebody made her delete it and she put up another one. But that girl making out with that demon? Does everybody forget the dark stuff that Gypsy was posting? If you could use her. Yeah, they were speculating on what to do with Dee Dee's body before and after the unaliving. Or if they should just leave it alone. And what I think is I side with Candace that they had so much sex up and down that bed next to Dee Dee's body that they might have been too tuckered out or something and they left Dee Dee's body alone. But I think there was a thought of, because I think and somebody got mad at me last night. They said Rose said BDSM is bad. I never said BDSM is bad. I said Gypsy was into dark BDSM. There is different levels of BDSM. at this point, it's just batting around theories. Really at this point, Gypsy isn't going to get my people, but her over theories is nuts. Yeah. But she did. Hey, Janie. Gosh, I don't know that, but it makes sense. Well, it's like, you guys, how evil is this woman? She could be this evil. Hidden dark satanic BDSM. Well, that's what it was, because I didn't know how to explain it. But there is BDSM where people do dark satanic sacrifices and things. People sacrifice children. People sacrifice women, pregnant women. There is dark corners of the earth. How far did Gypsy dip into that dark corner of the earth? We did see, like I said, on Facebook, she did post a picture of that human woman in that flowing dress making out and hugging this demon. Yeah, Donna, I think when Candace made sense when she was showing, look, they gripped the pillow. You can see the grip mark. I understood, like, before Candace even drew the stick figures, I could see what she was already going to say. She didn't have to say it. I was already seeing her view the moment she even alluded to it. I was like, I see where Candace is going with this video. I see what's happening. Did something happen with you over in Morbid's community? No, you were upset. Yeah, everybody loves 13th Hour and Sherlock. Yeah, the chat does get unkind, doesn't it, 13th Hour? I've told Morbid that. I'm like, I come to the internet to get away from my horrible regular life. I am depressed in my everyday life. And I don't come here to get put down. I come here to do my hobby. Everybody comes here to do their hobby online. Whether yours is crime or ASMR or gaming or whatever platform you want to have. And this crime community does get very harsh. I'm sorry, 13th Hour. I didn't know you've cried. I know there's been people up there that diss on our voices. And I'm going, why are you guys getting down on our voice? There was one guy that was literally getting down on anybody's voice, that they were getting down on that other girl's voice too, the one that has that high, squeaky, girlish voice. She was on panel last night too. Is it Janie or something? So they were getting down on her. There was this one person in chat that was just getting down on anybody's voice that didn't sound like I guess, normal or something. I don't know. Anybody that had a voice that was just slightly different. And I was like, gosh, you guys, I've had mean comments about my ox. Ah, that's stupid. That's really stupid, 13th. I'm sorry. They should respect that this is how you live. You have to have that oxygen. What are you going to be like? Here, I'll take it off for you. Here, let me die in front of you. No problem. Let me take this off. Yeah, his chat gets vicious out there. His chat is very vicious. Unless there's a couple of creators who think they own information and freak out when others have anything else. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Fancy just made kind of a video like that today. Everybody got mad at Fancy. I could show that video real quick. Fancy just kind of pulled that stunt. Oh, did you see the stunt Fancy pulled today that pissed everybody off? Felicia? I can show it real quick. Fancy just pissed everybody off. Maybe was it Toddy One Skip that showed it? Maybe it was Toddy that showed it. I was watching Toddy and see, let me see if Toddy shows it. Maybe is it this? I think it's this. Toddy shows it real quick what Fancy just did, and it's really rude. I totally agree with Toddy in this video. Yeah, I wasn't sure if the people on panel. Yeah, when you're on panel, it doesn't matter if you're watching. You either can watch stream or you can watch. There's two different screens you can watch. You have to mute YouTube, but you can watch the YouTube chat, or you could just go into StreamYard's panel and you're watching the chat in the panel there too. There's two different ways to watch chat when you're on panel. I so agree with Toddy on this, and I can't believe Fancy went this hard on everybody. There's a lot of us like me. I knew Hello Starlight and everybody else and Toddy before I went and looked at Fancy. Because of Fancy's attitude, she was like one of the last people I actually seeked out. I watched Starlight and everybody else before Fancy. I appreciate that 13th hour. We'll respect each other over here. I'm glad you guys all came over here. I feel like I got the good part of the people that did come over from Morbid's channel. I feel like I got the good people. The people that, because a lot of you guys came over here when I started speaking out about I'm tired of worshiping Nina. And a lot of people started coming over here to freely talk about Nina and freely air their grievances about Morbid's chat, that Morbid's panel and everything that they didn't like. And I feel like I got the best of Morbid's channel. The good people that came over that were like, I'm tired of these rude effers over here that like diss on people while they're on panel, disrespectful to the streamers on panel, and worship certain streamers and blah, blah, blah. Your tears this morning broke me. I'm sorry, 13th. Because I bet you knew exactly how I was feeling. I'm sorry you felt that way too, and you've cried too. I didn't know you cried too, 13th. I am so sorry. Oh. I don't want a wrench. Same here. Fancy was the last person I wanted to touch. Yes, it says down here, her thing is titled, Yes, It's My Drive. No, it's not new. Crime scene photos are public record. Well, I got mad because somebody did say this to me on Morbid's panel too last night. They're like, Rose, these photos aren't new. And it's like, okay, Google Blanchard crime scene photos, Gypsy crime scene photos. Google it however you want. Nobody has the whole collection in one place except for Fancy, but you got to pay for it. Everybody has 3 or 4 pictures here and there. The most gruesome ones was Candace at first is the one I thought that had him, and then they just brought out these new ones. But you can't just Google crime scene photos and conveniently get one web page where there's every crime scene photo. Like I'm trying to find the tire tracks one again. I can't find it. You know? They're not all together. They're on Reddit, but I'm not sure. Well, it's and even they only have like 4 or 5 of them. They have the 4 or 5 most gruesome ones. Some of the most gruesome ones. Candace has the other gruesome ones. Between those 2 channels, you get all the gruesome ones. But like, where's the tire track ones again? I can't find those ones. Where's the cigarette butt ones again? Where's those? It's like because everything is scattered. Except for fancy. Unless you pay for fancy, you don't get them all in one place. Oh, 13th hour, if you decide to go Google them or get them off Reddit, be prepared. I mean, the worst one for me was the eyes. I did not know that they were going to open her eyes. That one was hard. Candace Starr has that one. That one was very surprising. Probably more surprising than the neck wound. I didn't expect the eyes to be wide open. I didn't know they took that photo and then somebody had a copy of that photo. And yes, fancy, we can put in FOIA requests. But not everybody, first of all, knows how to do it. And second of all, they take a while to fulfill and blah, 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 whatever. Whatever, fancy, whatever. But let's listen to what Fancy has to say. Let's hear Fancy put all of us down. Oh, whoops, sorry. I need to show it. Sorry. Let's show it. Hello.
Yes, the link that's going around to a drive is my files. Yes, it came from my Patreon. Nice of you all to take it out of there and then spread it all over the place. It's really nice of you. But I don't really care because here's the thing. What you guys aren't understanding is those documents, those crime scene photos, they have been public for the last 9 years. Anyone could have put a FOIA in at any freaking time they wanted to and gotten those photos. And many have. And they have been out for years. The fact that you're just now seeing them means that you're probably just now coming to the case, or you chose to be willfully ignorant for the last 8 years. And
why do you have to talk to people like that?
Yeah, exactly. Fancy's getting really rude. Fancy, what does it matter when we decide to come across the crime scene photos? Not everybody wants to look at those. They are very hard to look at, to actually look and realize they're mine, to realize. Well, I guess I kind of agree with Gypsy in this way. Okay, you guys, I'm going to side with Gypsy in this way. Fancy is like, I put in the FOIA request, okay? They're on my Patreon drive. You know, how rude of you to pay for something that is free and steal it from me. Because go put in your own FOIA request, guys. She's like, you do the work. You put in the FOIA request and then you can have them. But I put in the FOIA request. Don't come to me and ask for something that's public knowledge and expect me to give you public knowledge for free. Is basically what Fancy's saying. And she's also saying, if you are just now coming to me today and asking for the crime scene photos today, you're either ignorant or new to the case. What are you? New or ignorant? You know what? I used to stream about 9-10 years ago. And I streamed off and on for a couple of years. I did psychology. But then I got busy with my own life of going through the justice system. Dawn's parents had some criminal charges against me, my husband's parents. And then I was in drug court. I got on drugs, and then I was in drug court for a year and a half. And then I got diagnosed with bipolar because I had a bad bipolar attack. And they had to get me on meds and get me settled and get my moods stabilized. And so, yes, I did quit streaming for 5 years because I had a lot of personal problems. Plus, we moved in that meantime. We moved to a new house. I had a lot going on. So, yes, for 5 years, I did stop streaming, guys. I left for 5 years. But after I was done in recovery, after I was done with everything, after I was done getting my mood stabilized and getting back to being a normal person, I found my life was dull, and I found that I was missing being a streamer and out there talking about people's personality types and out there talking about, and so I came back. So it's like I'm not ignorant because I knew who Gypsy was, kind of. I had heard about the singing mother and daughter who then her boyfriend offed the mother and they were in prison. I knew about it. I'd watched the act twice. I knew of Gypsy, but I hadn't come back as a streamer yet. I wasn't ready to. I came back when I was ready, when I was good and ready. Gypsy used weird sex. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm wondering, how dark did it go, J-Dub? Did it go as dark as Candace said? I think it might have. Is what I'm hearing. Fancy spying. Gypsy shouldn't be allowed to make money for crime, but people spreading my crime scene photos for free is taking blood money out of my pocket. Well, she gets down on Bree, too. She did another video today, too, where she gets down on Bree for touching her, for sneaking in and touching her drive. See, this is where she gets down on Bree.
Hey guys, it's Fancy, and you're watching a very, very early morning
I mean, she gets totally. So she's waking up at 5 a.m. She's angry because she's getting text that Bree snuck into her Patreon.
Of the Good Wives Network. Oh, good God. It has been a morning already. I
don't know. She said she was only going to do it for $1, but I hear it was much higher. I don't have a Patreon account. I don't really know much about Patreon. I never looked. I don't think I made a Patreon. I don't think I have one of those yet. I haven't had need for a Patreon because I'm not monetized on YouTube. I'm not a big streamer. And so I don't know what to offer people for a monthly subscription on Patreon yet. So I haven't touched Patreon because I don't know what I should offer people. It's like, for $2 a month, what do I offer you? What do I have to offer you for like $2 a month? I don't know.
got up around 4 because my stomach was not feeling well, and so then one of my mods messaged me, seeing me up, and told me that Bree was on live and they were discussing Colleen. I have asked you guys repeatedly to leave Colleen alone. Colleen has asked you guys repeatedly to leave her alone. And they did discuss some things about Colleen speaking to them and everything else. And you know what?
This is worse. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but so Colleen, who is a trained nurse, she's got a master's in nursing, who likes to teach nursing, was working for the Good Wives Network as she was interpreting the medical records. That was her job. She wasn't a nurse for Good Wives Network. She was just bringing her knowledge. And Bree went after her licensing. She's trying to get Colleen's license taken away. And so Fancy is really up. She does have the right to be upset at that. Bree should have never touched Colleen's licensing. But they put a complaint against Colleen's license because they think Colleen deserves to lose her nursing license, and they're trying to take it from her. Says a hell of a lot about people who rip into others' voice. Yep. Just weak and nasty. It's mean of them. I hate it when they do that. Because I it's just hard because I've always struggled with my own voice too, because I don't know what's up with my voice. I don't sound too feminine, but I don't sound masculine either. I don't know. I mean, I sound, I guess, feminine enough that, I don't sound like I'm a male, and I am a girl, so at least I sound somewhat girlish. And I know I have a unique voice because anytime I was like, "Hey, what's up?" I'd call people and they're like, "Oh, Rose, it's you." And I'd like, "How do you know it's me?" "Rose, it's your voice. We know your voice, Rose." Like, I have one of the most unique voices out there that all my friends, they knew. They knew my voice when I talked. I already went after her license years ago. Okay, Kendall. Well, I guess they're going back after her license again. And Colleen has stepped away from the Good Wives Network. She's too scared to work with Fancy right now. She's pulled away.
That's happening. That's between them and Colleen. But I know my side of with what's going on with Colleen, and that's all I can speak to. And what I went in there for was to correct them as to why her license should never have been reported, and why they are incorrect in what they are labeling her as, her role here with the company. Now, we went through a lot of things.
Thank you, Avelle. I appreciate it because, like I said, I've struggled all my life with liking my own voice. I'm like my mom. My mom always complained about her voice too. And I think it's a learned behavior from my mom to be very wary of my own voice too. Because my mom has very low self esteem too. And she really heavily passed that on to me. Like, my mom was very critical of me when I was growing up too. And so in my head, I always have that critical voice, because it's just the voice from my past, constantly being critical of myself. And I'm trying not to be critical of myself as an adult and just say, Rose, you like being out there, forget about what kind of voice you have, just do your thing. Okay, laugh if you want to laugh, say whatever you want to say in whatever tone of voice you want, and don't care. Don't care if it sounds right, sounds perfect, sounds good, as long as you're having fun. Because, yeah, there's that critical little voice behind me all the time. Thank you, Jetica. I appreciate that. She has 2 tiers, $1 and $5, which is in Patreon is cheap. Well, yeah, she said, I watched her stream where she said, well, how do I get the medical records to everybody? How do I get the crime scene photos to everybody? How do I get all of this 500 pages of everything to everybody? And so that's why she said, well, I'm going to put it on my Patreon for $1, guys. $1, you can access my drive and you have everything you want. She meant to, as far as I understood, because like I said, I watched that live when Fancy announced what she was doing. I understood what she was doing. Because how do you get a couple hundred people 500 pieces of information? Well, you put it on Patreon, real cheap. And then everybody has access to it. You just got to spend $1. And for 30 days, you can look at her whole drive for 30 days. You got 30 days for $1 to go over the whole drive. People don't like the sound of their own voice. I find it funny that they're like, that people are using that nowadays. And I don't want to get down on this community. Don't think I'm like transphobic or homophobic or anything. But everybody's like, well, if you don't like your body and you don't like your voice and you don't like this about you, you might be trans. And I'm going, no, that's most of the world. Most of the world is critical of their own voice and critical of their own body. And that doesn't mean anything. It just means that you have self-esteem issues that didn't get solved while you were growing up. Some people grew up confident and they don't care about their body, their voice, anything. They will shut people down and tell people, whatever. Like your style too. That's why I feel for you, because people speak over me. My voice is calm and I don't like yeah, because you're like, it's so hard. I'm sorry you have that hard time too, Susie, because yeah, you're like, I'm a calm, nice person. Why is everybody shouting over me? I've never shouted over you. You know, I've never spoken loudly or rudely to you. And then your soft voice, you try and speak and so everybody can hear you, and all people do is slam over you. Like hearing my own voice on things. Yeah, I really hate when I have to go watch my own VODs. When I have to go watch my own VODs, it's like, oh gosh, can I just take off the headphones? It's like I hate having to go back and review my own videos. I really do. I'm a loud Southern chicken. You're like, yeah, baby. I like your voice, 13th hour. I never thought your oxygen or anything got in the way of you talking. So I don't get what people are saying, because I never thought your oxygen was a problem.
It was actually a pretty decent live. Then we got into some of the medical records. It got a little heated. Some people got a little ignorant. Some people got a little rude, and I got rude back because I'm going to out-rude you every time you're fucking rude.
Well, see, like I said, there's people like Fancy who are very overconfident, and she says, well, if you're going to rude me, then I'm going to out-rude you every time, and I don't give a shit. And then there's people like me who are a little sensitive, and if you out-rude me, I'll probably just cower away and go cry. Make fun of the way I talk to you. They say I sound like a valley girl. And I'm like, well, I am a valley girl. You can go stick it. When I was growing up, if you were a valley girl, you were the coolest girl like ever. If you had that talk and that walk and that mannerism, you were just so damn cool.
To me, don't worry, that's going to happen. That's not going to change. So
telling me I needed to go lay down, and oh god, that is so cruel. It's like, dude, you're like, no, honestly, I need it. I'm not being a gypsy. I don't do this for attention, guys. You're like, I really, really need it. Some people do have, like I said, when I first met you, 13th hour, I felt for you, because I'm like, my dad had OCD too. And he died in the end of a heart attack because his OCD complicated him getting oxygen to his body. And he wouldn't stay on his oxygen all day. And I kept getting mad at my dad because my dad wouldn't stay on his oxygen. And it's like, without your oxygen, Dad, you're going to die. And so I really understood you, 13th hour. When I first met you, I was like, okay, 13th hour is kind of like my dad. You know? I know my dad had OCD and oxygen was his lifeline, and he didn't use it, and he died in the end. Yeah. See, bad people like Gypsy ruin it for the honest people in this world. COPD. Did I say it wrong? Did I say OCD or something? COPD. Keep saying it wrong. The coroner's office owes them. Why call them ownership? She's petty. I need to call my friend Russell, because his mother was unalived. And I need to ask him, were you able to get a hold of your mom's autopsy? Because last night, Becca Scoops told me that the family in a murder case does not get to have access to the autopsy. However, I know somebody who was murdered, so I wonder if I should ask him if there was a hold on his mom's autopsy or not. Or if the family was able to have access to it while the perpetrator was in court. Because last night they told me you couldn't. Because my theory is Gypsy was next to kin, but she was in prison. So that puts Claude, Dee Dee's father, as next of kin. Because Dee Dee wasn't married. So that puts Claude as next to kin. I know that Claude and his wife have at least seen the autopsy until the trial is over. The trial for Gypsy is technically over. She took the plea deal. Yeah, laws could be. I'm in Utah. It could be different in Missouri. Can have access to it after all the court. Well, the odd part is Gypsy took the plea deal. So can Claude still access it then? Because Claude would be the next of kin, and maybe her sisters might. Hey, Mary. But the sisters might be able to get a hold of it. Might, because they're close family members. Because the people that can call the coroner are the next of kin. And my mom was the next of kin for my brother. But I was able to call the coroner and get the talk screen because I was the one that was notified of his death. I was the family member they notified. So even though I wasn't next of kin, I was notified. Yes, life does happen and it's hard to pull it together, but I pulled my life together and I'm back. I'm going to play this video real quick and let you guys watch it while I got to go put some rice on for dinner. It takes like 45 minutes to cook rice, so I got to put it on now. So watch this video and I'll be back.
Brings us to the Patreon conversation. And I'm going to explain to you that there is certain ways that Patreon works and there are certain ways that Patreon do not work. And Bree is alleging that she got the medical records and the information off of our $30 level Patreon. She did. She tried to come in and file a fraudulent refund with myself. I turned her down. I turned her back to Patreon because at the time I did not even know it was her, and she was claiming that she only got 3 days with the documents and that she wanted her money back so that she could then purchase a full month on the 1st. That's not how my billing cycle with Patreon works. There are 2 different types of billing cycles with Patreon. There is one that does bill in the 1st of every single month. That is not how I have mine set up. How I have mine set up is that when you purchase it on a specific day, you don't get billed again till that specific day, and you have access to it for an entire month. So for instance, if you pay for it on April 12th, you have access to something all the way until May 12th, and you do not get to then it renews on May 12th, not on the 1st, not like some other ones. There is a way for me to do that, and I turned it off years ago because I didn't want it to be like that, because I did not want my customers to be charged for 1 day to 3 days or whatever, before, and then have another charge. I didn't think that was right or fair. It was supposed to be a prorated rate for that period of time, but I just didn't think it was right. So, paying $8 for 3 days and then being turned right around and asking for 30 or something, I didn't feel was right. So I opted into what is called subscription billing. On our Facebook account today, I am posting all of the conversation with inside of the Patreon with her and what she was doing. And she also is the person who went in there and reported all of our Patreon content and tried to get it all taken down so our Patreon members could not have any other content at all. So good job, Bree. You infiltrated and you did a great job, but honey, you've been had. And the time period that I'm going to show you, I did not know it was Bree that I was conversing with. I did not find that out till maybe a month ago. Somebody told me and I had to go in and look. And that's when I realized it was actually Bree, because the name she was using was Lux Linux or something like that. It's in the post. The only reason that I know it was her was because she was talking about the refund on a live. I went in, I checked it, and then lo and behold, guess what its email address is connected to? Her Etsy store. The one that I supposedly kept her from making money in, despite the fact that I never did anything with your Etsy store. Oh, I forgot. You said it was someone else too that caused that. There's been a lot of people that apparently have kept you from your, making money on eBay. It could also be the person you said was gaslighting you because you didn't give them the proper amount of clay pieces that they asked for, but hey, and paid for. But hey, it was me. You're right. Everything's always me. Aren't you aware, guys? By now, it's all me all the time. It's never anyone else, ever. funny how that works, but they all want me to take accountability for my actions. And by the way, in that live, I did apologize to Bree specifically for saying that she was a trans woman and making the video calling her a whole ass man. I have taken that down. I took that down months and months and months ago. I took down the post about her. I do not speak about Bree very often at all, because I don't think that she is even relevant in this, because she does not have the facts of the case, and her judgment is so clouded by being so close to the Blanchard family. I'm sorry, she just cannot be objective in any way, shape, or form. So go on over to our Facebook page to read these screenshots from Patreon of Bree, who has now claimed that Patreon has given her this refund, which would be a fraudulent refund. So if she did receive it back,
yeah, when she doxed that prosecutor, I don't know if I believe that Nina's getting all these emails with all the answers. Because I don't believe that was a security guard. Because in my opinion, a hired security guard would not sit down and eat a meal with you and just chat with you like a friend. Because they're there to guard you. So either it was an unpaid security guard friend, if it was a security guard, he wasn't being paid at least, because that was very unprofessional of him. Plus, he wasn't wearing a uniform. Or two, I'm Norse pagan. Interesting. My niece's boyfriend cleans crime scenes too. Oh wow. I've heard of people that do that their job is to clean a crime scene. Oh, nah. Can you imagine like going in there and being like, ooh, cleaning all that up and being like, I wonder what happened here. So yeah, see, she's getting mad at Bree because I guess Bree snuck on there, stole Fancy's stuff. But yeah, I don't like that. It's public information. Nobody owns it. If you have it, share it. Don't make people. Well, I understand. I don't know if you could do a free Patreon. I mean, maybe she could have made it free, but just put it on her Patreon for free. I don't know that much about Patreon. I don't know if you could do a free one. This sounds like mine. Yeah, J-Dub. But let's watch Candace bust Gypsy. You guys are going to love this. Because this proves, A, what a liar Gypsy is. And B, didn't they say Dee Dee was? I'm not sure you can say the word. Oh, yeah. Well, okay, I showed you guys that. Okay, the only thing I have, I got it from this girl CJ on TikTok, who she said she got it from She got it from Facebook. Somebody put this on Facebook. Here, let me show you. Somebody put this on Facebook. Because I was looking for any info on the autopsy, and this is what I found. Okay. Yeah, the whole court case, Chrissy, is because part of it is the contract that they did years ago with Fancy. They're saying it's Fancy broke the contract and that Fancy owes them money because she never made the series that she was, the proxy series she said she was going to make. And two, they gave her the medical records and everything so that she could make the by proxy series. And when she broke the contract and then put all that stuff on Patreon for a price and is now making money off of private medical records they gave her. And so the deal is they're also saying, look, she's breaking HIPAA laws we gave her this. She didn't use it for what we agreed upon. Instead, she took off with the information and she's using it for her own personal gain on her own platform. And instead of the by proxy we settled on. Sure, if Claude is a blood. No, Claude is, that's how she got named Claudine. Isn't Claude didn't adopt. Claude and Emma are the parents of Claudine, I thought. Hi, Kathy. That would be weird if Claude wasn't a blood relative, because I thought Claude is her biological father. Claude and Emma Pitre that's how she got named Claudine. Only pertains to doctors and medical professionals. Yeah, that's a good point, Kimberly. Because yeah, they're the ones that, per their licensing, if they break HIPAA, they lose their license. So somebody put this up on Facebook and they said, okay, look at, I'm trying to read what it says. The top part is a little weird. Look at Dee Dee was severely injured days before her murder. Days, not hours or minutes. Hope you can see my mouse where I'm circling it, because I'm reading it from exact top to bottom for you guys. That means Nick couldn't have inflicted them. I've seen others comment about Gypsy, your something unaliving her mom, about Gypsy unaliving her mom. This, in my mind, 100% guilty. And then it says, I'm looking for the official autopsy report now. Because somehow somebody got a hold of this part of the autopsy. And it says, physical findings and injuries discovered during the examination. And this is where I'm speculating that Claude and his wife, somebody had the autopsy at one point in the family. Somebody had to, if this is true. If this is true, then somebody in the family was able to see the autopsy report. It says, during the autopsy, everything highlighted in purple, I'm reading that now. During the autopsy, a disturbing and gruesome set of findings emerged. I don't know if a coroner would word it that way, but they could. It says Dee Dee Blanchard's body bore multiple jab wounds, concentrated predominantly on her neck, back, and arms. The extent and severity of these injuries are alarming, pointing to a violent and brutal assault as the cause of death. Next day. Well, Gypsy says in the interrogation on the 9th, and he says, are you sure your mom passed away on the 9th? And she says, yes, on the 9th. She reiterates it twice in the interrogation. And then she tells the story of the boyfriend that was supposed to meet her on the porch that went in the house, locked her in the bathroom, and unalived the mother. That the boyfriend that got in the fight with the mother. Christy claimed on Bree's Live a little while back that she has the autopsy report, not the photos, but the report. But she was so drunk, so I don't know if it's. See, I know somebody in the family. See, maybe Claude gave it to Christy, because I don't imagine Christy and Rod are not blood related to Dee Dee. So I don't imagine just because they're Gypsy's parents and step-parents that the coroner would allow them to have the autopsy. Next of kin after Gypsy would have fell to Claude. If it wasn't Claude, it would have fell to Dee Dee's sisters, Dorla. I think Claude, Dorla, and a few other people have seen the autopsy. Well, Jeopardy laws, Gypsy can come out. Yeah, she can. She can scream it now. And because apparently they can't, the only thing you can do is civil. She can't do it because just like OJ, I wish she would just do it and let Nick get off because no, Gypsy, you're not going back to prison. But please let Nick have. I agreed with somebody last night. I heard somebody say, who agrees to 15 years? Oh, on Morbid's thing. Who agrees to 15 years? Nick should have at least gotten at least 15 years. I agree to 15 years. Give Nick 5 more years and let him out. They aren't sealed in Colorado. Well, this is Missouri. But I know the family has seen it. So somebody, and then it says down here under the purple writing, it says, the forensic examination also revealed that Dee Dee had been subjected to these inflicted injuries several days before her death. Traces of blood and other evidence indicated a sustained and agonizing struggle that she endured before her life was tragically taken. The autopsy findings were consistent with the circumstances. So this is the only peek I have at the autopsy. Somebody put this on Facebook. CJ, who is on TikTok, CJ, I'll show you guys TikTok. This is who I got it from, so you could go get it from her. You could talk to her. She says us crime community people need to stick together. Because I before I showed that autopsy, I privately messaged her to say, where did you get this? Is this accurate? Is this real? Question they asked Nick is, did he grape Dee Dee? That's what I was trying to explain on Morbid's panel last night. Well, here's the thing. Why, if they didn't have smecks in the bed, why did the interrogation person keep asking Nick, are you sure you didn't put your thingy on her butt, on her face? There was sexual fluid on that bed because she kept asking Nick, are you sure you didn't at least even touch your thingy to like her body? She's like, are you sure? Because remember, by the time they interrogated Nick and Gypsy, they had already processed some of the crime scene. The public got the autopsy report out. Hopefully it would help Nick. Because the governor can pardon Nick. It's really hard to get this done. But if everybody could, if the public opinion could change and prove Nick should have maybe got desecration of a body, improper care or disposal of something like that. It's all for Nick. Hi, Kathy. It's all for Nick. They were asking a lot of leading questions that would make you think some kind of sexual thing. Exactly. They were alluding to Nick. We know something sexual happened in that bed. Just tell us. And Nick says that there is something he will take to his grave. I'm thinking Candace stumbled on the secret. That was an odd. Because, yeah, I've always hated that part of the interrogation where they're like, are you sure you didn't at least touch it to her face? Like, you didn't have to grape her, Nick, but did you at least, like, touch it to her body? They didn't literally come out and say that would be on the autopsy report, too, though. Because they kept asking Nick, are you sure you didn't at least touch your thingy to her face, to her butt? Like, you didn't have to grape her, but did you at least put it on her body somewhere? And Nick's like, no, I didn't touch her body. Which makes me think that Candace is right. That's why those blankets were placed on the bed to keep them clean from getting blood all over their body while they were smexing around Dee Dee's body. Detective kept asking him if he touched his thing. Exactly, Chrissy Cakes. And that bothered me in the interview. They kept asking him about necrophilia. They kept asking him, are you sure you didn't? And remember, they've already processed the crime scene at this point. They're like, you didn't kiss her? Are you sure you didn't at least kiss her? They're like, they kept asking Nick, we know you've had your body, your fluids came in contact with Dee Dee's body. We just need you to admit it. It's like, are you sure you didn't kiss her? You didn't put your thingy on her? You sure? Because remember, they already have crime scene knowledge while they're in there talking to Nick and Gypsy. These objects, not their bodies. Yeah. We don't know what toys Gypsy also had. We know she was into BDSM. We know she had handcuffs, wigs, lingerie, but we don't know what else she had. The Scoops thinks Gypsy was also involved. I think she was involved in multiple ways. Not only in the unaliving, we just don't know how far Gypsy was involved. Was she involved 6 hours before Nick got there? 2 hours before Nick got there? 1 hour before Nick got there and 1 hour after Nick got there? Was she involved before, during, and prior when Nick got there? How involved was Gypsy? You know, was this a multiple day thing for Gypsy? For 2 days, did she beat on her mom, jab her mom, punish her mom, get Nick over there and finish her off together like Ruby and Victor fantasized about? Victor and Ruby fantasized they would finish this together. It was going to be sexual to finish this together. It was going to be hot and dreamy and enticing to finish this together. Like, I think Gypsy got dark and dirty. Okay, let me see. Hold on. Okay. I don't know if I can do this, but Gypsy Rose Facebook Nick. Let's see. Images. I'm trying to see if I can show you guys. Let's see. Because remember, she had a, what was it? Was it a Nick and Rose Go to John Facebook or something? There was a Facebook that was for Nick or a Snow Nick Snow or something. Should we watch what Candace got out of it? There's a couple things I wanted to show you guys from Candace. There's this one. And then, let's see, let me go to YouTube. Hold on. Let's go look at Candace Star real quick. Okay, let's go look. Okay, so videos. Okay, right here. This is where Candace,
if this
what I was talking about on Morbid's live last night. We'll rewind it to here's where she gets into exactly what happened. Okay, so this is the original crime scene photos before they started moving the blankets off the bed. Because the crime scene photos we were watching before Gypsy's birthday, they didn't have these blankets on the bed. These blankets weren't there. This is new to Candace. This is new to me. And so,
because this right here is on top of blood splatter.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if you really take,
and I was trying to describe, I was hoping Morbid would get enticed and say, okay, give me the video Let's go watch this Candace video. Because I was trying to describe this last night as best as I could. Instead, I got shut down.
Take a look at this. It's wrinkled here like a knee. It's wrinkled here like a knee. Okay.
Would I also imagine, though, I'm not saying Candace is wrong, but when Nick told the interrogator, he's like, oh, we did everything. He's like, we did, the mouth, the body part, we did backdoor, and we did regular. Nick's like, we did everything that night. Okay? So what I also imagine, this is what I was trying to tell Morbid. Gypsy did have carpet burns on her knee. So imagine her knees right there on the carpet down there, her body up and bent over the bed, and she's gripping the pillows this way, and her chest is down, and her head is probably up here close to her mom, and that's where she gets the carpet burns. She could have done it on the side of the bed. Her knees could have scraped the side of the bed too, not just carpet. And so not only was they doing what Candace is saying, I'm thinking they were just all over that bed in every position. Down like this, on her back like this, rolling over. I think they were doing everything. I think this whole scene is just messed up.
Even if you zoom into the pillow, oh, hold on, let me go to the pillow. You'll see where I'm getting at. Hold on. I'll pause this so I can find it.
Yeah, exactly, J-Dub. Like, we study these photos, and you pick up stuff that all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, why did nobody ever see this before? I gotta show it.
It's wrinkled. Oops, hold on. In a way.
Toys. Yeah. And when they showed the crime scene photos of the bed was still half covered with toys. It wasn't fully emptied. I think they just went in there and were looking for the Barney doll. Because why didn't Nick say, oh, yeah, I know the Barney doll? And then all of a sudden he's like, wait, never mind. No, I don't. I didn't say that. I don't know the Barney doll. Because I think Nick was like, oh, yeah, don't say that. That's what you're taking to the grave. Because Nick says there is stuff he is taking to the grave that he will never, ever tell another soul. But Candace shows you how they were kind of all over the side of the bed. They didn't literally lay in the bed missionary style next to Dee Dee. They were bent over the bed. They were in odd positions, bent over the bed and stuff, and they were on this floor next to the bed, and they were, yeah, let's watch what she says.
Right.
You can't
can I make this
see.
smaller? Yeah, there we go. It's wrinkled in a way of bunching, like as if a hand was placed here, as if a knee was placed here. This is bunched up as if somebody was laying here. Okay, this looks like this blanket was laid upon. Hold on, let's go to the
I
next
think they
picture.
could have either been bent over the bed like this on her stomach, or she could
Here.
have been on her back. Either way,
See this
or
blanket?
both.
How odd, right? But do you see how pressed down?
Because remember, Dee Dee was covered in blankets after she passed. They know that. So Gypsy cleaned up and then piled a bunch of blankets on her mom so that they could do the deed. Bless your heart, you just won't want answers. Keep digging. It's like, if you won't show me that autopsy, I will find the answers another way, dang it. Either show me the autopsy report, or me and Candace will find it another way, dang it.
This blanket was put on top of the murder scene. Okay.
Not just one blanket to cover Dee Dee's body. Isn't this weird that there's multiple blankets? Don't you just need one blanket to cover the body? Why do you need 10 other blankets? If you just cleaned up and you took one blanket, covered the body, put a Barney doll by your mom's head, kiss her goodbye, why do you need 10 other blankets on top of the bed?
Let's go to the handy dandy drawing board. So here's the murder scene, but this is placed on top, just like this one was, right? Now let's look.
Yeah, see? That is another white blanket on top of the pink blanket. That is a whole 2 separate blankets on top of the pink. There's a pink comforter. It's a pink silk comforter. And there's a blue blanket and 2 white blankets side by side placed over the soft pink silky comforter.
At how indented it is, like pressure, like
And disturb the scenes
pressure.
Yeah, like the first responders, J-Dub, they don't care about where their footprints are, what they touch. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait, we got to cord off the crime scene. Oops, we touched too much.
Was placed. Okay. Like pressure was placed.
I love how she's doing these stick figures. She's like, I'm going to quit leaving it to your imagination. Let me help you guys.
Look. Look. Knee. Look. Look at the pressure there. Look at the pressure there. Look here. Okay. Look here. Hold on.
Yeah, see, there's a grip right there where it's bunched. You can see right here in the very corner where that could be another bunching where they gripped it and twisted the blanket in her hand and she was pulling at the blanket like this. Grabbed it, you know? People imagine CSI that, yeah. The problem is, and see, that's what Nick was also imagining too. He's like, oh, you're going to read me my rights just like they do in a show. He didn't realize your rights are your rights, and you're supposed to use your rights, Nick. They're not just read to you. These shows really show the justice system in a wrong light. They make you think the justice system is played this way, but it's not. TV is very clean and fair and stuff about how they do the justice system. They don't listen to that.
Okay. Now look. Like a hand here. Okay.
I think there was a
Crunching
hand
up
here.
the blanket.
She's that right there in the corner.
Here. This is crazy. Hold on.
Well,
Oh, I didn't
even
mean to
it
save
could be
that.
his
Ew.
hand like this.
Hold
His
on.
knees could be down right
Now,
there,
let's look
and
on
his
the
hands
side of
could
her
be
bed.
like this too.
If you look, oh, hold on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then why is there a blanket and a pillow right there? This is very odd.
Okay. If you look here, there's no wrinkles. It starts getting wrinkly a little bit here. Hold on. A little bit here. Right? Starts getting wrinkled here. Okay. And this looks like it's being pushed this way and this way. Like a hand crumble when you crumble something in your hand. Okay. You have a towel here, a blanket here, and a pillow.
What is that in the center? It looks like a mirror, but it's not a mirror. It's a metal thing or something. That there's something really weird there in the center. You guys see it? It's really weird. It looks like a hand mirror, but it's not a hand mirror because it's see-through, I think, or it's a metal frame. Something really weird.
Hello. Why? Let's see. Hand. could go like this with the leg. It would make crinkles here where there are crinkles. Crinkles here.
Or this
Because the hand might come
crinkle can
down
also
and
be
grab.
another hand, because he could be pushing against the bed like this. He could be hitting the bed too, like this. He could be down like this, touching the bed with one hand and touching the floor with the other. You know? So the person on top, this is their hand, and the person on bottom, this is their hand, and they're both pushing on the bed for familiar murder victims to be. Yeah, it is. That is common because of remorse. However, like I said, one blanket is enough, though. What is the rest of these blankets all about? Why is there 3 other blankets on the bed? One is enough. One pretty pink, silky comforter is enough. The additional blankets is what's in question. Not the comforter, not the Barney doll, is the additional. The additional pillow on the floor. Why is there a pillow on the floor? I mean, they could have just knocked it on the floor, I guess, but it is sat up against, like they needed padding right there. Like they needed to put their back there, and they needed it to be soft, so they put a pillow down. I mean, that is plausible.
Do you understand what I'm showing you? This is sicker than we
Yes,
thought.
Gypsy is. How did she know to turn down the air conditioner? That's what I'm saying, J-Dub. This is some sick, dark, twisted. But remember how sick and dark Ruby was. Is this that far of a fetch? We've all read Ruby's letter. We've all seen Ruby's video. We've all seen the demonic Facebook posts. Is this really that far of a stretch? Is this where people cross the line, I guess? Because I think this is where everybody on Morbid's channel put that line last night. Is, okay, Rose, I can believe this and I can believe that, but I cross the line because we have morals and ethics, guys. So we do cross the line. And no. A daughter wouldn't, no, she wouldn't do that to her mom. She wouldn't do that to her mom. Are you saying Gypsy wouldn't do what to her mom? Because this girl seems pretty sick to me. She talked about murdering any girl that wanted to date Nick. And they would do it together and it would be gruesome. Red stuff everywhere. I was at a scene where the son killed the mom and then left the evidence. Condom on the floor. Yeah, there is. And are you telling me that is this where you cross the line? You don't believe Gypsy's this sick? Even though the investigators were third degreeing Nick about, come on, you at least kissed her, right? You at least put your thingy on her face, on her butt, something. You did that, right? I mean, you didn't grape her, but you at least, like, touched her, right? It's so weird that Nick confessed to everything but that. And so that tells me if the investigators, they knew something went down there. They know it didn't happen in her bedroom. Plus, is there fluid? Did they find sexual fluids on her bed? Because if they did it on her bed in that many positions that Nick describes, there would be some sexual fluids. Especially, well, no, it wasn't Gypsy's first time, but there would be some, there usually is fluids. Did they use a black light to see if sexual? Yeah. I don't know. See, the thing is after Nick confessed and they had the two murderers right away, It's like they put a dead stop to the investigation. Because they're like, ooh, the daughter did it. Why? And then they started hounding the daughter. Why did you do it? But then lawyers got involved. And they put a stop. According to Becca Scoops, which I don't doubt this is true, I don't know if she talked to the cops herself. I wanted Fancy when she was in Chillicothe to talk to the cops, but the Chillicothe cops wouldn't know anything, though. To talk to the cops who were on this scene because they are upset that Gypsy got the deal, because they literally processed this scene. So why were they going so hard after Nick about, well, you at least kissed her or something? Because there was fluid on Dee Dee's body. Cops are allowed to lie. Yes, they are. They are. They certainly are. Cops, I wish there was a law that they couldn't, but they are allowed to. CPS, cops, everybody, they're allowed to lie. As long as the ends justify the means, right? If the ends justify the means, you're allowed to lie your ass off. Yep, innocent. See, this is the problem with America. The second you get the cops called on you, call lawyer. I don't care if you're guilty or innocent. Call lawyer. Just because you call lawyer doesn't mean you're guilty. It is you exercising your American right, because if you do not call a lawyer, that's when they talk you into confessions. And that's where innocent people go to prison, because the cops don't let you sleep for 2 days. They don't let you eat for 2 days. They mentally and physically wear you down until you confess. Was her manipulation of Nick's mind with, yes. See, here's the thing. My brother is autistic. He had a huge sexual fascination. He would do sexual stuff and describe it. I'd be like, shut up. Shut up. I would be like, that stuff I would never do. Don't even. It's like, don't even tell me. Don't. Because my brother got into more than just casual sex, more than just casual missionary, a few other different small positions, casual kind of sex, He crossed into the sexual fascination, and I don't want to think about it, guys. It's my brother. I wish he would have never told me anything. But autistic people can have a sexual fascination and be controlled by it. I think especially guys. I think guys get really... I think it's sensitivity issues, because when you're autistic, certain body parts are more sensualized and more nerves and more, what's that word I'm looking for? More sensitive. So your body feels different when you are autistic. You have a different intuition with your body. You have a different relation to your body. Yeah, you're hypersexual. And so sex feels so much different and so much more satisfying than just normal sex. See, me? I don't have a single part I'm the opposite. So that's weird if I'm autistic. I don't have a single part on my body that you can touch that will set me off. When I was in high school, I had a friend who's like, if you rub my knee, Oh, it sets me off. He's like, I love. And one day we were watching a movie and there was a girl on one side of him and I was sitting on the other side when I was 16. And I was rubbing his right knee and she was rubbing his left knee during the whole movie. And everybody every once in a while would turn around and be like, what the hell are you three doing back there? Because every once in a while he'd let out a moan. And it's like, we're doing nothing. We're just touching his knee. Gosh. We're just swirling his knee, you guys. That's all we're doing. I'm just like touching his knee. And so that's what I'm talking about. And you can be controlled by those desires. Just a touch on your body. Just, I was talking to one of my coworkers one time about it. Because he said one bad thing about getting a boob job is once you get a boob job, it can kill the nerves. And you no longer have nerve feelings in that part of your body. Get it what I'm talking about? And so therefore, when a guy touches you there, it no longer drives you crazy. Get turned on that way. See, I don't either. And I was telling him I have zero feelings in that part of my body. I said, you can touch it all day long. I'm not going to get turned on, by the way. I'm going to look at you like, what the you doing? Get your hand off my body. Because I don't have one portion of my body that you can touch that I'm like, all right, I'm in the mood. Let's go, baby. All you had to do was touch me there and my motor's running. But I've known a lot of people that you just touch them somewhere and their motor's running. And they're like, you better take me in that back room. You touched me. Let's go. And so I imagine if Nick was like that, it would be very easy to control him. To rename the stream to see Talk with Rose. It's like, sorry, I get a little graphic there, man. But I'm trying to get the idea across. I might be saying too much, but I'm trying to get the idea across of why hypersexual people can be controlled. Because it's the teasing. She teased Nick, and that's what she did with Ryan, guys. Everybody says Ryan is creepy. After I stopped breastfeeding my girls, my two, wink, wink. So breastfeeding made you more sensual. No, that's not TMI. Interesting. It's what I was just talking about, but that's interesting. So breastfeeding changed your body in that positive way. Google interfering with the First Amendment. Google, you're fired. You feared with my First Amendment. Thank you, J-Dub. I try. I try to just be this open channel. Like I said, I name myself Talk with Rose because I mean it. Come in, chat, talk. Let's discuss things. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not a fancy. I'm not Dawn with the cutting board. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how it is, what it is. And my idea is what's right. If you don't agree with me, you're an imbecile, whatever, idiot. I'm not like that. I'm like, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Let's discuss it. If I'm right, let's discuss it. It's been 8 years now. Oh, you're like while you were breastfeeding. Were you able to talk your man into trying some milk? I know every pregnant woman I know every married couple I have ever met keeps telling my husband, no, you have to try it at least once. It's actually sweet and tastes good like cantaloupe or something. I don't know. Tastes like cantaloupe or something. I don't know. They keep telling my husband, no, you got to try it. I've had 5 or 3 babies with him, and not once does he dare try the baby's milk. The real talk, it's refreshing, yes. And see, that's what I'm here for. If you guys want to get real, let's get real. Because I'm not this snobby, high and mighty streamer that sits up here and says, I'm right, guys. Or else I just pre-record. Screw going live, I just pre-record, guys. But I like how I come on here with an idea, and you guys are going to change it up. But let's see how Gypsy turns into what I think is Gypsy has two modes in life. She's either the victim or she's the perpetrator, the manipulator. So she's either being like Dee Dee, like I said, where she's nudging Ryan, she's telling Ryan to shut up during an interview. She's being Dee Dee, or she's playing the victim role. But the victim role is to help groom her husband into the Dee Dee mode. Because really what she wants to do is she wants to be Dee Dee and control you. But she has to play the victim first to get you. If she plays the victim first, she softens you up. So the victim mode is to soften you up, to get you to feel sorry for her. And once she's got you to that point where you're ready, she grooms you so that she can just play the manipulator mode where she's in control of her life. And she's going to explain to you right here how she hates being out of control. But this is how she gains control. Play the victim first. That's why she calls a lot of victim things when she's first married with Ryan. Oh, don't do that. That triggers me. So her first week of being married to Ryan was a lot of, I'm going to teach you my triggers first so that I can control you. So after I play victim role and teach you my triggers, now I'm going to turn into my mother and I'm going to be the manipulator role and I'm going to control you. After I stop my nips. Oh, interesting. Well, the pregnancy does change your body, good or bad. You know what? It was so funny. When I was growing up, because I was a colicky baby, I always had an outie belly button. And when I got pregnant, my mom was laughing at me. My mom's like, Rose, you already have an outie. She's like, when you're 9 months pregnant and you get a bigger outie, she's like, I'm going to laugh at you because your outie is already like huge. And she's like, you're going to be like twice as big. And she's like, you're going to have this big ass belly button. Guess what? I now have an innie. My first son, for some reason, I never got that outie that women get. My belly button got sucked in. My outie is now an innie. And I've had an innie since I was pregnant, since I've been 18 and I was pregnant with my first son. My outie went to an innie. And so now I get an innie belly button. Yay. Pregnancy reversed my belly button instead of making it worse. So that's funny. Pregnancy does odd things to your body. Single thing everywhere felt way different after my day. It was a bad thing. You're like, no, it's not a bad thing. You're like, it's kind of cool. You're like, I get this new sensation now, baby. Okay, so let's see Candace. She's going to catch Gypsy in the best way. Not only lying, but it'll show you how she goes from victim status to manipulator status. Oh, whoops. I forgot to put this new one on. Oops, share. There we go.
What are the triggers that you have?
Honestly, it's feeling like I don't have control over my life. That's a big one.
That was honesty, because she looked me dead in the eye when she said it. Now she's looking down and watched us.
She's trying to think.
When I feel
Certain phrases.
Okay, so he starts interrupting and instantly said certain phrases, right? Remember that part.
Remember
Things that
it.
your mom used to say to you or
Yes.
something? Gotcha.
Yes.
Because one time I was like, you have my heart. And
Remember that. Now, he just said her trigger. She should be flashing back. She should be in fear. She should be crying. This is a trigger, and that's what triggers do. Triggers trigger.
Yes, they do.
right? Watch.
I thought it was something real sweet,
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
and she went, "Ugh." Didn't work,
Yes,
right?
so-
It's like she pulled away, and I was kind of like, "What I say?"
Look at her face.
Yes, because whenever
like,
I
"Ooh."
was treated to the bed,
She couldn't.
The way she's like, yeah, that's right, Ryan. That is a trigger. Thank you, Ryan. You know, she's like, that's right, Ryan. The bed, the bed, the bed. I love how she's tripping over that word. She's like, the bed, the bed. Yeah, the bed. That's the thing I was tied down to, the bed. I forgot. I was tied down to the bed.
Even get that lie out. I was chained to the bed. No, you weren't. Shut up. You chained Dee Dee to the bed. So what I peeped right here is number one.
So your mom used to say,
We're getting to it. Hold on. Stay with me, please. Your mouth is about to hit the floor and your brain is about to explode.
I was wondering where Candace was going with this. Your mouth is going to drop as soon as you see where Candace is going with this. Hated her mom because Dee Dee was beautiful. Well, she was that beauty queen. Yeah. Yeah, I think she was jealous of her mom, and her mom kept her being that little girl. She didn't want to be that little girl forever with that overprotective helicopter mom. Like I said, I think she decided that Dee Dee had to go the day she made Gypsy look like a little girl in front of Dan. She wanted to go to Arkansas with Dan, and Dee Dee showed up and made Gypsy look like a little frightened, scared little girl and demanded her money, her pills back. And Dan was like, Gypsy, I ain't taking you to Arkansas. I got a wife, I got a kid. I ain't taking you with me, Gypsy. And I think that day, because like Becca Scoop says, that's the day she got very mad at Dan. But I also think she got mad at Dee Dee because she had to go home with Dee Dee and go back to that little girl. She wanted to be a beautiful woman like her mom, like you said, Susie. Her mom was beautiful. Her mom got to be a beauty queen. Gypsy didn't get that. The mom didn't make her a beauty queen, per se. Gypsy forgot that she was queen for a day a couple of times. So Gypsy was a beauty queen. She just had to sit in a wheelchair for it. Yes, I think Gypsy's ego got heavily injured by both Dan and Dee Dee that day. And I think that's the day, because Gypsy wasn't going to unalive her mom until I think that day. Because Gypsy was fine with just running away. She wasn't planning on unaliving her mom. Why did she feel fine to just walk out of the house and run away? Because she knew she was 19. But she argued with her mom, I'm 19. And the mom, I don't know if Dee Dee was like, well, I got a birth certificate that says different, Gypsy, or what she said to Gypsy. But her and Dan both hurt her that day. The ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. But I think that's the day that Gypsy, she punished both Dan and Dee Dee after that. She got hurt so bad by both of them that day. Dan fully rejected her. After she was there for 4 hours and she was sleeping in Dan's bed, I wonder if they had smecks. So like 3 hours after they have smecks, Dan disses her and gives her no choice but to go home and be Dee Dee's little girl. And Gypsy this is the only place I side with Gypsy. She had the right to feel like it's time to grow up and move on in the world. And so this is kind of where Dee Dee does go wrong by pulling Gypsy back in for another 4 years of this. For another 4 years. Oh, she knew her age. She's not dumb. Being a little slow and a little behind doesn't make you dumb. I mean, she passed her GED. She proves she's not dumb. I passed my GED the first time. She proves she's not dumb. Slow, being a little slow does not equal dumb. Does not equal the R word. Because Gypsy, and also what I tell people is you have smarts in different areas, okay? My smarts is in human behavior. I, since a little girl, have been fascinated with watching people talk, how they behave, the things they do, why do they do things. Thought her grift was so. And Dee Dee wasn't when Gypsy was 19, Dee Dee hadn't really started going downhill yet. Okay, you got to remember at this time, Dee Dee was still okay. She hadn't started going to the doctors yet for diabetes and stuff yet. Be allowed to raise the kid if she's even pregnant. Ken will leave her. What if Christy leaves Rod, gets with Ken, and they raise the baby? That's what's gonna happen. Bet your money on that. It's gonna be Ken, Christy, Parker, and the demon spawn possum.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay, watch this, guys. You guys are going to be amazed. You're going to love the ending here. And this also proves how she treats Ryan and Ken differently also.
You have my heart.
So he just says her trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If this is a trigger, guys, come on, stay with me. If this is a trigger, it would trigger her. She does not get triggered. Okay, watch what she does.
And I thought it was something real sweet, and she went, didn't work,
Yes.
right?
She's shaking her head. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. She didn't get triggered now.
Keep
How
going.
is that
Keep
a
going.
trigger?
It's the next part.
It was like she pulled away, and I was.
She's smiling. She's smiling. How is it a trigger if he literally just said your trigger out loud next to you?
Generally, when somebody triggers you, you get that blank stare in your eye because your consciousness is literally pulled back to the past, and you sink into the despair of the trigger. And depending upon the level of the trigger, the outward expression that you have. But the outward expression is never to laugh and be like, yeah, that's my trigger. Yeah, you got it, babe. Don't say it anymore.
You in your ear
Stay with me.
and you're
It's
smiling.
coming.
That's a lie.
This is a good video. I want you to hear it
It's a
too.
lie.
In case you missed it.
Not only that, but this is sounds very rehearsed.
This part, rehearsed, scripted.
Oh, by the way, Ryan, you probably don't watch my stream. You don't want to watch this. I don't know if you watch Candace's stream, Ryan, but you probably don't want to watch this, Ryan, because you haven't realized this yet, Ryan. And I'm sorry if you see this video, Ryan, because you thought the tattoos were going to hit you hard. I'm very sorry about this, Ryan.
Control. You have my heart, right?
It's rehearsed in my eyes because he's finishing her sentences. He's starting her sentences. He's finishing the sentences. This is something they went over like a script. How is it a trigger if she's smiling? Watch how excited she gets to explain her trigger that he just triggered and she didn't react.
I'm like, what I say?
Yes, because whenever I was treated to the bed,
Liar.
the bed.
Yeah, what it is what just came to my mind is, Gypsy, when you review your triggers, reviewing your triggers is usually something you talk very calmly and reserved and vaguely about, because you don't know how to express and dance around a trigger. You don't talk about your triggers like somebody's pulling a trophy off the shelf and saying, oh, here's another trigger trophy. That's how Gypsy treats her triggers. Like you're in her bedroom pulling trophies off the shelf, and it says, oh, this is the I love you trigger, and you put it back on the shelf. Yeah, he's a sucker. Well, you're gonna see how big of a sucker he is in a second. It sucks what she just does to Ryan. In contact for several years. I have
The bed. My mom said, "You're my heart, and I can't live without my heart." And then when he said that exact same thing, it was a trauma.
Yeah, but he just said that exact same thing and it wasn't a trauma trigger.
And I understand. Like, what did I do? You know,
Yeah, I understand.
Watch.
Yeah.
And when
She's laughing. She's giggling.
Now watch.
Does this look like a trigger?
So you heard him say, you have my heart. And you heard her say, that's my trigger. When I hear you have my heart. Right? You heard it? You heard it from her mouth?
Okay, so we're talking about two of Dee Dee's triggers that she told this wrestling guy. One, that she needs to be in control of her life, okay? And two, when Ryan says, you have my heart, because it brings back bad memories of Dee Dee standing over her chained on the bed saying it. Has something in his past that would have her early release. Oh, interesting. Well, I've always wondered that, Patricia, because she was in contact with Ken the whole time. Before she got married, while she was married. Every time Ryan found out that they had a phone call, he either threatened to call off the wedding or after he was married got upset about it and made her promise not to do it again, and she'd do it again. They spoke. Did you see when they asked Ryan or Ken, when's the last time you spoke to Gypsy? And he hesitantly was like, yeah, just before she got out of jail, actually, guys. And it's like, so why did you wait and go through Christy? Why did you wait and go through Christy? I don't know. Till the shoe drops and Gypsy figures out she. They're probably going to get a conservatorship over her, take her money, take her baby. You never know. Christy might even drop Rod, or they might do a throuple and all live together. Thruples are the new thing, guys. And then they'll, once, because all they need is Gypsy for a minute to make them famous. So that when they get that conservatorship on her and take her out of the limelight, we're still watching Christy and Ken's drama and possibly the baby if it's real.
In his mouth.
Her
let's
trigger
watch.
that he just triggered and she didn't react.
Listen.
I'm like, what I say?
Yes, because whenever I was treated to the bed,
Liar.
the bed, my mom said, "You're my heart, and I can't live without my heart." And
then you want to hear the next part of the story I made up. And then yeah, check this out. Stay with me. You are about to just watch. Okay, here we go.
I'm scared that I bring a certain level of drama to his life that I
Okay, here we go. Here's Gypsy at the very end of episode 8. Closing up. This is just before she announces her pregnancy. This is how she's feeling just before she gets pregnant.
don't mean to bring. It's like my baggage.
No, it's your baggage, all right. It's your baggage.
He could leave me right now, and it's completely out of my control.
Oops. Trigger 1, guys. He can leave. Ken can leave her. It's completely out of her control. So how does she get that in her control? Okay? She's losing control right now because Ken has already left her once. Everybody knows if you've done it once, you could do it again. No big deal. And ready for trigger number 2?
Uh-oh. That was one of them, right? Her trigger. Don't trigger me. I need control of everything and every diagnosis. Okay.
And that's scary. It was scary back then, and it's still scary now. But he has my heart, and I can't.
What?
Oh, did you guys hear what Gypsy just said? Ken has her heart. Wasn't that trigger number 2? That Ryan said, Gypsy, you have my heart. And Gypsy's like, whoa, babe, trigger, don't ever say that to me again. And what did Gypsy just say to Ken? You have my heart. Uh-oh. I think she's in Dee Dee mode. Manipulation mode. This is where I'm like, there's the victim mode where you have my heart makes Gypsy cry. And then there's perpetrator mode where you have my heart is to control you and get you to stay. Leg up on her. He's not soft like Ryan or Nick. Yeah. One done a deep dive on Ken. Well, I need to go back to, I was thinking about going back to Natasha Cooper's life where they named the girlfriend and maybe start there. Be like, okay, where's the girlfriend's name? Because they say the name in Natasha Cooper's life. I tried to look at all the bars and stuff on a map in the area where he lives and to see if there's any hiking trails close by. Because he keeps hiking. Let's see. Has anyone done it? But yeah, I was thinking, yeah. I don't know how people dox people. That's so weird. People on the internet, like I said, they're better detectives than the cops we've hired. The cops we have working in our departments, they need to learn from these internet people that stay home all day and dox people. Downtime for social media. Well, I'm glad you landed here too, J-Dub. Yeah, it's almost my dinner time. I gotta go in a minute. But I thought this was neat that Candace caught this and wanted to show you guys this today. That I think it not only shows that Gypsy's a liar about the abuse, but it shows her mindset. So the only way she knows how to be a wife to somebody is how her mom treated her. So she goes into this Dee Dee manipulation mode where she nudges you. She controls what you say. She told Ryan to shut up during an interview. She holds him tight so she can squeeze and poke him if he says something wrong. So there's that Dee Dee manipulation mode. She's telling Ken right now, you have my heart. And it's not a trigger because she's in Dee Dee mode. But then she has victim mode. Where if she, because this is how she tries to get control of her world. She's either victim mode and everybody feels sorry for her, or she's in perpetrator manipulator mode where she's trying to control everything going on around her. Saw her bossing him on a clip a few days. Probably because that, once she's done with victim mode and she's softened you up and you believe her story and you feel for her, because look what she did to Ryan, look what she did to Nick. Those men still love the shit out of Dee Dee. Why? Why is Ryan and Nick so obsessed with this horrible woman? It's insane. And so, yeah, no mellow balance. She has no way of just being a chill, regular person. Gypsy, just chill out for a minute. Quit overthinking everything, because that's what Gypsy does. She overthinks every situation. Do I need to be a victim in this situation, or do I need to be a manipulator in this situation? And she weighs it. Gypsy or Dee Dee, Gypsy or Dee Dee, because that's the only thing she knows how to be. Either Gypsy the victim or Dee Dee the manipulator. Anchor baby. Shopping for a future. And so that's what I think. I think this shows, yes, Gypsy does lie about her triggers, or she wouldn't be saying this to Ken. But she just doesn't know how to just be a person. Just go out and have fun, Gypsy, or do whatever you want and connect with people. She doesn't know how to connect with people. She doesn't know how to talk to another person, and she can't connect until she takes accountability for everything she did. She needs to take that accountability. She doesn't understand. Accountability is the hardest thing you have to do in your life, but that is exactly how you regain control over your life, is by taking accountability, learning, changing, growing, and moving on. Yeah, I know. I have rice. It's in the rice cooker. It should be on warm status, but I do need to go cook dinner. But I just wanted to show you guys that. See what you think of, like, the way Gypsy balances life. Do you think that's how she runs? That's what I'm thinking now, is how she kind of balances life out to take control. And she's trying to control Ken here by saying, Ken, you have my heart, because she knows that when her mom said, Gypsy, you have my heart, it made Gypsy feel sorry for her mom. Therefore, my cords are tangled. Therefore, she knows, okay, this is a good way to get somebody to stay. Because it made Gypsy want to stay. Or that's exactly when she decided to unalive her mom. Dee Dee pulls her home from Dan's house, says, do I need to lock you up? I can't lose you, Gypsy. You're my heart. Without my heart, I can't live. And then Gypsy's like, as long as I'm her heart. And I wonder if that's what gave her the idea of, so I'm not going to be able to grow up because I'm your heart. And I got to stay here or you'll die without me. Because you can also tell it in the interrogation when Gypsy's like, oh, me and my mom got in a fight. I left. She unalived herself, didn't she? Oh my gosh. She's gone. She did it to herself. She's that distraught over losing me. And I think that's when Gypsy decided, instead of falling for Dee Dee, when she says, "You have my heart," and soaking it up and being like, "Okay, Mom, I'll be a good daughter. I'll stay here with you. I don't want you to die." Gypsy was like, "Shit. I ain't nobody's heart. I am my own person and I'm getting the hell out of here." All right, you guys. I love you guys. You guys, oops, where's my stuff? Oh, there it is. Nah. We'll do another stream. See, tomorrow is, okay, we're getting close to August 2nd. See, we're getting close to August 2nd. I love you guys, and I love that I finally got a community here on YouTube. And like I said, I feel like the ones that did come over from Morbid's channel, I got the best of you. I got the best of his channel, and I'm sorry, 13th Hour, that you left his panel crying too. I'm really sorry. And sorry to anybody else who's ever left Morbid's panel crying. And J-Dub, I will see you soon. Susie, Aval, Buddhistia, you guys. Brian, if you're still there, you guys are wonderful. Chrissy, everybody. I love you guys. I'm going to go eat dinner. You guys have a good evening. I will check you guys out later. Oh, I do have to go to the doctor's tomorrow for like a couple minutes. I'll be gone for an hour tomorrow. Maybe when I get back tomorrow, because I will be gone for just an hour. I just got a small doctor's appointment.